If your partner displays certain negative behaviors, Stoicism teaches that recognizing these behaviors is essential to safeguarding your mental health, tranquility, and self-respect. According to the philosophy of Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus, true well-being hinges on how you manage your responses to external circumstances, not the circumstances themselves. When confronted with manipulation, disrespect, or other destructive actions, the first step is to objectively evaluate the situation, preventing emotions or attachment from clouding your judgment. Epictetus stated that we are disturbed not by events, but by our opinions of them, making it vital to clearly discern your partner's behavior and its impact on you. Stoicism encourages focusing on what lies within your control. You cannot change another person, but you can choose how to respond. By setting boundaries, clearly stating your expectations, or, if the behavior continues to erode your well-being, deciding to distance yourself. The core principle is to maintain inner resilience and live in alignment with virtue, encompassing wisdom, courage, and justice. By protecting your tranquility, you prevent external factors from disrupting your inner harmony, thereby bolstering your self-respect and mental equilibrium. If you detect even a trace of the 5 signs of destructive behavior in a relationship, Stoicism advises seriously contemplating leaving to preserve your inner peace and live in accordance with virtue. Epictetus taught that while we cannot control others' actions, we have full authority over our judgments and decisions. Identifying manipulation, disregard for boundaries, evasion of responsibility, neglect of your time, or lack of effort from your partner presents a choice: to endure or to reclaim control over your well-being. Stoicism holds that wisdom lies in discerning what is within our power and courageously making decisions, even when they are painful. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that external circumstances should not disturb the soul's inner fortress, so leaving toxic relationships is not a sign of weakness, but an act of self-care rooted in reason. Reflect. Does this behavior support your mental balance and self-respect? If not, Stoicism urges resolute action, free from anger or resentment, while maintaining clarity of mind. Leaving such relationships is a step toward restoring harmony, enabling you to focus on what truly matters: a life aligned with virtue, where you value yourself and your inner peace. The first red flag. When your partner manipulates you into doubting yourself and your reality, Stoicism suggests recognizing this as a threat to your mental well-being and protecting yourself through reason and virtue. Epictetus taught that external events hold no power over us unless we allow them to distort our perception. Manipulations that lead you to question your thoughts, feelings, or memories undermine your inner clarity. But Stoicism reminds you that truth and tranquility are within your control. Marcus Aurelius advised regularly returning to yourself, examining your judgments to resist external influence. If your partner deliberately sows doubt to control you, it signals that the relationship jeopardizes your self-respect. Stoicism calls for objectively assessing the situation. Are your doubts grounded in facts or induced by manipulation? Wisdom lies in avoiding emotional conflict and maintaining composure, trusting your reason. Instead of blaming yourself or seeking to appease, focus on what you can control: your reactions and decisions. If manipulations persist, Stoicism encourages considering leaving the relationship as an act of courage to reclaim your peace and live in alignment with virtue, cherishing your inner strength. The second red flag. When your partner disrespects your boundaries, treating them as optional and showing disrespect by violating them, Stoicism suggests recognizing this as a threat to your tranquility and acting with wisdom and courage. Epictetus taught that our power lies in controlling our judgments and reactions, not others' behavior. If your partner disregards your clearly established boundaries, whether personal space, time, or values, it's not merely disrespect, but an attempt to undermine your self-respect. Stoicism encourages beginning with objective observation. Which boundaries are being violated, and how does this affect your well-being? Marcus Aurelius advised returning to yourself, checking your thoughts to avoid anger or resentment. Instead of engaging in conflict or blaming yourself for their behavior, focus on what is within your control. Set boundaries clearly and firmly, but without emotion, as befits one living in harmony with reason. If violations persist, Stoicism prompts you to consider whether such relationships align with your aim of living virtuously, upholding justice toward yourself. Respecting your own boundaries reflects inner strength, and defending them requires courage. If your partner does not acknowledge your boundaries, leaving the relationship may be an act of self-care, restoring inner harmony. Stoicism teaches that true tranquility is achieved when you live in alignment with yourself, not allowing external factors to disrupt your mental fortress. Choosing to distance yourself from someone who disrespects you is not weakness, but a wise choice for a life where you value your integrity and peace. The third red flag. When your partner consistently plays the victim, avoiding responsibility for their actions and shifting blame onto you, Stoicism suggests recognizing this as a threat to your mental balance and taking action guided by reason and virtue. Epictetus emphasized that we cannot control others' behavior, but fully control our judgments and reactions. If your partner manipulates by presenting themselves as a victim and distorting reality to blame you, it undermines your self-respect and clarity of thought. Stoicism teaches starting with objective analysis. What actions are they taking? How do they reframe situations? And how does this affect you? Marcus Aurelius advised regularly returning to yourself, checking your thoughts to avoid emotions like anger or guilt that manipulations may provoke. Instead of engaging in disputes or trying to prove your innocence, focus on what is within your control, your inner peace and ability to maintain justice toward yourself. Set clear boundaries, calmly addressing the unacceptability of such behavior, but without judgment, as befits one living by reason. If they continue to evade responsibility, Stoicism encourages considering whether these relationships support your life in accordance with virtue. Wisdom lies in not allowing others' manipulations to disrupt your inner harmony. Leaving such relationships can be an act of courage, safeguarding your mental fortress. Stoicism reminds us that true well-being is a life where you value yourself and do not allow external factors to undermine your confidence and peace. Choosing to distance yourself from someone who shifts blame is a step toward regaining control over your mind and returning to a life grounded in truth and self-respect. The fourth red flag. When your partner disrespects your time, canceling plans, not prioritizing you, and expecting you to wait, Stoicism suggests recognizing this as a threat to your self-respect and tranquility, urging action with wisdom and courage. Epictetus taught that we do not control others' actions, but fully control our reactions and judgments. If your partner neglects your time, it's not just an inconvenience, but a sign that they do not value you as a person. Stoicism encourages starting with objective observation. How often do they cancel plans, ignore your priorities, or expect you to adjust to them? Marcus Aurelius advised returning to yourself, checking your thoughts to avoid irritation or feeling undervalued. Instead of reacting with anger or trying to force change, focus on what is within your control: your time, decisions, and inner peace. Time is a precious resource, and Stoics emphasized that it should be used for a life aligned with virtue, wisdom, justice, and temperance. Respecting your own time begins with clearly stating your expectations. Calmly but firmly convey that you value your plans and are not willing to tolerate their constant disruption. If disrespect persists, Stoicism prompts you to consider whether these relationships align with your goal of living with dignity and harmony. Wisdom lies in not allowing others' disregard to undermine your inner strength. Leaving a relationship where your time is not respected is not weakness, but an act of self-care grounded in reason. Stoicism teaches that true tranquility is achieved when you manage your life consciously, not allowing external factors to disrupt your integrity. Choosing to distance yourself from someone who does not value your time is a step toward regaining control over your existence, focusing on what truly matters: a life where you respect yourself and live in alignment with your values and inner peace. The fifth red flag. When your partner stops making efforts and investing in the relationship, taking you for granted after the initial phase, Stoicism suggests recognizing this as a threat to your self-respect and mental balance, urging action with wisdom and inner strength. Epictetus taught that we cannot control others' behavior, but fully control our judgments, reactions, and decisions. If your partner, once attentive, now shows apathy, no longer seeking to maintain connection or grow the relationship, it indicates a lack of mutual respect essential for a harmonious life. Stoicism encourages starting with objective analysis. How has their behavior changed? What efforts have they ceased? And how does this affect your well-being? Marcus Aurelius advised returning to yourself, checking your thoughts to avoid resentment or feeling undervalued, which can cloud your judgment. Instead of demanding change or dwelling on the past, focus on what is within your control, your time, values, and inner peace. Stoics believed that living in accordance with virtue, wisdom, justice, and courage supersedes external circumstances. Relationships where you are taken for granted do not support this aim. Calmly and firmly express your expectations, emphasizing the importance of mutual effort, but without anger, as befits one living rationally. If the lack of effort persists, Stoicism prompts you to consider whether these relationships support your life in harmony with yourself. Respecting yourself begins with acknowledging your worth, requiring courage to reject neglect. Leaving such relationships is not defeat, but an act of self-care, restoring inner clarity. Stoicism reminds us that true happiness depends on your ability to live in accordance with reason, not allowing another's apathy to undermine your integrity. Choosing to distance yourself from someone who does not invest in the relationship is a step toward a life where you value yourself, manage your time consciously, and strive for peace rooted in virtue and self-respect. If your partner exhibits any of these destructive behaviors, manipulating you into doubting yourself, disrespecting your boundaries, playing the victim, neglecting your time, or ceasing to invest in the relationship, Stoicism teaches that leaving such relationships is necessary to reclaim your strength, tranquility, and confidence. Epictetus reminded us that our power is limited to our judgments and reactions, not others' behavior. Facing these red flags, you cannot change your partner, but you can protect your inner harmony by guiding yourself with reason and virtue. Stoicism urges objectively assessing the situation. Each of these behaviors, from manipulations that undermine your reality to neglecting your time and efforts, erodes your self-respect and mental peace. Marcus Aurelius advised returning to yourself, examining your thoughts to avoid anger, resentment, or guilt, which only amplifies suffering. Instead of clinging to hope for change or blaming yourself, focus on what is within your control. Your choice to live in accordance with wisdom, justice, and courage. Leaving toxic relationships is not weakness, but an act of self-care requiring resolve. Stoics taught that true well-being is achieved when you do not allow external circumstances to disturb your inner fortress. By walking away from manipulation, disrespect, or apathy, you create space for a life where you value yourself and your time. This decision restores strength because you no longer depend on another's behavior, gaining confidence in your reason. Tranquility comes when you live in harmony with virtue, not wasting energy on what destroys you. Leaving is a step toward regaining control over your soul, aimed at building a life where you respect yourself and strive for peace rooted in clarity and inner freedom. Stoicism affirms that your worth is not defined by another's treatment, but by your ability to choose a path worthy of a person living rationally and with dignity.